Hi, everybody. Welcome back and happy Monday. All right, guys. Well, today's such a special day because it's June 9th, as you guys know, but 11 years ago today. Oh, I'm a Cancer. I cry over everything. I met my best friend. So today is our anniversary. People were asking me, why are you guys working today if it's your anniversary at the gym? And I was like, what do you mean? Like that's that's just what we do. We always work. So no, and also we love the Adams family community. And Jason has been working his ass off, literally his ass off with our good friend Stephanie from Pixel Star Design, who created our entire upandadamlive.com site. And while he was doing this with her, they came up with probably the best new feature that you're not going to find anywhere else. So I'm going to let him kind of explain that. But before we jump in, if you guys have not, go ahead, pop off in the comment section. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed. Don't forget to hit that notification bell, and let's welcome the hubby, Jason. Hello.
Hi. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Happy
anniversary. Of course. Guys, if I sound weird or look weird, we're still figuring out some kind of fun setup. So when we do Hot and Messy, because I'm always sitting where you are during Anchor Watch, but we're trying to get it set up. But yeah, 11 years. But it's funny when people ask too, and they're like, well, why are you working on your anniversary? When is the last time you got a day off because it's your anniversary? Like, that's right.
I kind of feel like never. Yeah. Last year, you guys, Jason ended up getting us a catamaran. So he privately chartered a catamaran where we spent our entire anniversary on this boat, and everyone was asking, like, how are you topping it this year? Well, last year was 10 years, but I think we're going to top it with our birthdays, and we're going to do something really, really fun and special. But right now, we are so focused on the upandadamlive.com website and work, and just making sure that everything is so accessible to you guys and user-friendly. And Jason's going to explain that right now.
Yeah, guys. So, I think it was, Adam, maybe 2 years ago, maybe even longer, we tried to do a watch party. So we would watch the show live with all of you so we could interact and chat with you guys. The problem is you can't have sound on. It becomes awkward on YouTube. So, and I know there are different discussion boards people go on like Reddit and stuff and watch the shows. But we wanted, like I said, Up and Adam Live to be kind of the hub for everything that we have going on. You know, whether you're watching YouTube, you can watch it from the site. Whether you're listening to the podcast, you can listen straight from the site. Whether you want to go comment on one of our articles and like get in the conversation with some of our contributors from all over. By the way, they're doing amazing. This is a chance to watch the show live Eastern time. So that's one thing. It is on Eastern time. Watch the show live and chat with the contributors, chat with me, chat with everyone. Gelsey from Anchor Watch will all be there on tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And yeah, the great thing about the website is that you can go sign up and create an account. It's completely free, guys. Like, it's always going to stay free. That's why we love our sponsors so much. They help us out a lot. So, big thank you again. I know, Adam, you mentioned her already, but Stephanie from Pixel Star Design and her team in London are incredible. So yeah.
Yes.
Very excited for tonight. Very excited.
It's going to be so much fun, honestly, guys.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
all you have to do in order to join us tonight, like you can see where it says right here, the live chat will appear here, but be sure to refresh the page at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for the chat to appear. Chat's going to end at 9:15. And it also shows you a schedule for the upcoming live chats. But all you have to do is go click on that little icon in the corner and sign up. Again, all free.
All free, all easy. It is our first. It's our first iteration of this live chat. So there might be some mistakes today and tomorrow. That's why we're only doing today and tomorrow. And then we will spend the rest of the week seeing what goes right, what goes wrong, because soon the live chat should just pop up on its own, have a countdown, similar to here on Up and Adam Live or Up and Adam on the YouTube. We'll have a countdown, and then we would get into the live chat. So it's going to grow like anything.
It's going to grow. All right, guys. So we have a lot to talk about. This has been a massive week for Bravo. Like, we have so many exit statements. We have so many new people who are like now joining. We have announcements, exit statements. We literally got everything. By the way, I sat there and I complained with Emily Hanks on Friday about this. You know, you guys, if you see me at BravoCon, because this year it's just going to be, Jason will be with me, but Jason will be also with one of our friends. So he's going to be enjoying Vegas and I'm going to be at BravoCon with Emily D. Baker.
Well, hey, that's not necessarily true.
Oh, is it not?
Yeah, Gelsey and I, who is the co-host of Anchor Watch, will be with us. We're going to see if we can have one or two of our other contributors, but we are doing with a camera. We're going to all of Lisa Vanderpump's spots on the Strip.
Okay.
So it's going to be kind of a bar crawl, a day bar crawl as kind of a review of all the spots in Vegas.
The camera, it's going to be like this. Like, here we go.
I didn't say we were holding the camera.
Yeah. But no, it's going to be a lot of fun. But Emily and I were both complaining because the minute that they announced on the day before the actual sale of the tickets, it was the Bravo Insider tickets. And so if you sign up for Bravo Insider, whatever, I don't know. If you sign up for it, then they say, oh, well, we're sending you the stuff. That way you can check it out first. Right. But then like Jason was like right on that shit the minute that it dropped. And all of a sudden, all of the tickets were sold out. I'm like,
well, I just wanted to know. So I had Tyler and Lexi and Gelsey. We were all on, at that time, because I just wanted to see if you could actually score a ticket or get it into the cart. I don't know how all these tickets get carted so fast. I know there are a lot of people going, but there were a lot of empty tickets last year's or the year before. So, you have four of us, two of us are in different time zones, all there at the same time. We all did the insider thing because I just wanted to test it out and see, why is this so difficult? I feel like they leave them for later too. I think there is another bunch that go out. I can't remember how it happened 2 years ago, but.
Well, and Emily's theory is that maybe there's like a third-party site that buys all of them and then tries to resell them. And 100%. I was like, well, that could be it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That could be, and they sell them for a lot more. I mean, they're already expensive. Let's face it. You're paying $1,500 for 3 days if you want all the bells and whistles, right? But all the bells and whistles include the things that happen there. And I do have to say, because we were lucky enough to go with some cast members because I was helping out our friend Caroline at her booth, and so we had access to all of those. I thought they did a really, really good job of doing the drinks and the lounges and stuff with the Bravo Labs, with the photo ops. And even if you have a GA ticket, I kind of found they did a pretty good job. It is just a lot of money, so
it's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, especially now.
Speaking of, though, just so we can bang this one out, speaking of a lot of money, you guys, obviously, that last week on Friday when we were live with Emily Hanks, we ended up talking about the Real Housewives of Atlanta, like reunion seating chart, the fact that Britt Eady did not show up, the fact that Kenya Moore was not invited. And now girl is suing Bravo for $20 million. Do you want to go first or do you want me to go first? Because Jason and I do not agree on this.
Maybe you should go first because I feel like somebody got played here.
Yeah. Well, no, I agree with that part, but I feel like at the end of the day, you signed up to be on Bravo. You know what it is. You came on in the first 5 episodes, which was only 3 weeks into filming, and you threatened the girl with a pistol. And you said, this is why I have pistols for bitches like this. And it's like, you should have been fired right there.
That's some MTV talk right there.
Well, no, that's literally like, no, that's even worse than that.
VH1.
Yeah, VH1.
Where does it get worse?
Yeah. This is like Bad Girls Club. But you sat there and you threatened her with a pistol. And then all she did, if you go back, and we all know that editing plays a huge role into it. So there are a lot of things that we don't see. You have these moments where we're filming events and they last like 4 to 9 hours. And, then you get like a 55-minute episode out of it and probably about a condensed 15-minute version of it, of like the most dramatic moments. But Kenya said to her, she was like, oh, are you not married? And she saw her diamond and she's like, girl, what do you mean? Am I not married? Like, bitch, do you not see the diamond? And she was like, well, no, you don't have you don't have a band. And she was like, I don't need a band. Do you see the diamond? And so that's kind of where this took off. And then Britt Eady was like very, very heavy on Kenya Moore. But then where it went left was at this party, this event that they were throwing. And it was in Bankhead, Atlanta. And it was called The Bank. And they were having this dinner. And she ends up going, across to Kenya at the table, and she was like, well, I just want to know like what your issue is with me. And she's like, girl, peasants cannot come for queens. But that's Atlanta. That's like that's kind of what it is. That's what makes it fun.
That's a typical Kenya Reed anyway, but that's not why she's suing.
No. She's suing. Go ahead.
She's suing because the alleged photo that Kenya had at her party with Britt doing some funny things, or supposedly it was her, was not actually Britt, and Britt was led to believe it was, right? So that's where this comes into play here, because if that wasn't her and she was led to believe that it was her, someone is playing someone, and it almost feels like this is a production no-no.
Well, and I kind of feel like too in this moment, you're looking at it and you're like, she's claiming that production and everyone told her that it was her who was engaging in the fellatio in the photos that were displayed at Kenya Moore's hair spa, right?
Right.
However, why would you not ask to see those photos? So now she's saying,
know. Okay, but was she told about those photos before the episode came out?
She was told about those photos that night because her multiple friends came to her,
right,
and she was crying in the next episode saying like, I did, as an insurance person, I did my best to have these photos and these things scrubbed from the internet. Yes, I was.
Wasn't she like a cam girl or something like that before?
She was like, yes, I was all over the place. Sure. And, I worked really hard to make sure that these photos did not exist. So I think that because she knows that there were photos out there from before, she probably leaned into the fact that these photos were really her. But like any normal person, before you would react, I would be like, let me see the photos.
Yeah.
Right?
Correct.
So now she's suing Bravo for $20 million?
Either way though, that should not have been at the party. Okay. That's a production mistake. Am I right?
B, well, they shouldn't have aired it.
Why also would you tell her that it is? Why would they go along with that? That is a big mistake. And I feel that she does have a right to sue in this case. I really do.
I don't think that she'll get.
I'm not saying she's the best person. She's a shitty housewife in my opinion.
She's a terrible housewife.
Horrible. But like that's like cutting weird, and this is exactly, lately Bravo is reminding me of Apple. Okay. Right. Oh my God. We're getting all these great things. You'll love Apple Intelligence. You'll love this. This is going to be amazing. They give you a new button on the phone. They charge you a ton of money, but really nothing works. It's not working. And sometimes Bravo does that right now. They're like, oh, we're going to change it up. It's going to be so good. It's going to be so great. But we need this like kind of negative, like, we should not have photos of that anymore. That shouldn't happen on Bravo anymore. You know what I mean? The cast should be able to carry it, and production should be able to carry the show in a way that reflects housewives. That's fun. That's dramatic. That does not involve having someone giving someone fellatio on photos at a party.
Well, and I agree with AC. AC said she won't get 20 million, but she will get something. She definitely
start
will.
Somewhere.
She'll get something. She'll never be on NBC again. We'll never see her a part of like any reality TV show. We're not going to see her on a network. She just put the nail in the coffin on that. Like,
absolutely.
Sure.
Now, even Jacqueline in the live chat brings up a great point. They shouldn't have been at the party, but why did she continue to film? Because they got rid of Kenya. And that was kind of like, we're going to put Kenya to the side. We're going to keep it. That's what it felt like. You're just putting Kenya to the side to make her feel better. I don't know. It just feels a little off, And I feel like production, they really, really drive the show just as much as the cast at this point where we are in Bravo. I felt like people were misdirected a little bit.
Well, Andy Cohen ended up tweeting saying, well, Xing, whatever you guys want to call it, this is reaching a level of petty that's beyond even anything that I have seen, with a popcorn emoji saying pretty much, girl, what are you doing? But she is going to win something. She'll win a couple $1 million. She will. She's not going to get 20 million. That's not going to happen, but we'll move on. We'll move on.
You know what? I just wish this was supposed to be the major comeback season for Atlanta, and not that it hasn't been a great season.
Oh, it's been a comeback season.
It's been a comeback season, but
yeah,
this is the kind of thing that doesn't need to overshadow that comeback season.
Right.
This is the kind of thing we don't need. Like, let it play out. That's why I'm kind of excited to see, what they're doing with some of the other shows like Beverly Hills right now. I think it's going to be interesting.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Speaking of that, though, and people coming and going, I did want to speak on this for a second, because Jax Taylor, you guys, we know that he has a new podcast, In the Mind of a Man. And I think that, by the way, that sounds like a blanket. That's a blanket statement, because I feel like that's not necessarily true. Like, he talks about why men cheat on their wives and why people do things that.
So it's the mind of this man, right?
Yeah, it's the mind. It should be the mind
it's
of
not
this man.
A man. Yeah.
Yes, this man. Because a man doesn't do that.
Men don't act like children, though. So
Right.
I'm so confused of why he has that in the name.
Well, he had a podcast tour for In the Mind of a Man. And there were a few cities, I think it was like Houston, Dallas, Toronto, a couple other places that completely dropped him from this tour. And so after that, I think his team got together and they were like, no, this tour cannot happen. Because I believe he did one show in Boston. It wasn't even full. And they were like, oh shit, we have an issue. Like, we cannot carry on like this. So now fans are calling for him to be completely removed from Bravo after his rage text towards Brittany, after being very vocally honest about throwing the bar stool, about flipping the table on her, hitting her knee, about the cheating, about the following her and like watching her from the cameras. But then there was a scene this past week where the cameras don't have audio, but he was very apparently aware of all of the things that she was saying when she was talking to production. And he was texting her being like, I hear everything that you're saying. And she was like, oh shit, is there something in the house? So all of these things are coming out, and now fans are saying, we don't want him back on the show. Like, now what do you do?
What do you do? Because, the show is mostly centered around the dynamic between Jax and Brittany, and we've watched it since season 1. Right now it's getting a little dark, and you and I both have different friends in Bravo who do different things, and we have both heard from different people in Bravo that the season is going to take a turn left into a very dark place. And it already is kind of getting a little like ick. It feels like we're watching people who are still trying to be on Vanderpump Rules in that 20-year-old mindset, but yet they're parents and living like children still. It's very odd. I want to like it a lot, but I'm not really enjoying it right now. And I think that, what do you do without Jax, though? And now we hear the potential rumors of Tom Sandoval joining the show, of Jeremy Maddox joining the show. Do you replace dirt with dirt, or do you know what I mean? Like, do we just put the same thing in place, or do we bring on some other people? The problem with this cast is this cast has all known each other for a very long time. They all have Jasmine, Janet, Sheena. They all used to hang out all the time, even before Vanderpump Rules, like during Vanderpump Rules. So there is a history there. Who else do you bring in without the constant uncreative cameos of Sheena? I think they're trying to push that so we have more character choices moving forward, but people are not receptive to Sheena, and they're not receptive to Lala on the show. So what do you do if you lose Jax Taylor? However, what do you do if you bring Jax Taylor back when fans are asking for him to be canceled?
Well, and what I want to kind of add to that too is, you know, a lot of people are concerned that the behavior that he is exhibiting right now in the moment is very potentially like dangerous to not only himself but also to Brittany. And I think that
Yeah.
what they're saying is, Bravo, if you continue to give a platform to this and this person ends up doing something that's like really, really harmful to either himself or his family, you're responsible. But now it's a different time because Bravo is getting sued for everything left and right. Literally, like Leah McSweeney right now is suing. Nene Leakes settled a lawsuit.
I mean, Leah McSweeney, that's a joke.
It's a joke.
No offense.
But Bethany, no, it is a joke. It actually is a joke.
It's a
but
joke. Yeah.
Bethany Frankel is leading the reality reckoning movement. And then you have Bronwyn Wyndham Burke, who I always, you know, like I like to use as an example. She was on the Real Housewives of Orange County, if you guys don't remember. And she came on the first season and she had like 9 kids or whatever. And she's like, these are the bigs and these are the littles. And this is my husband, Sean. And we have a condo. It's called the Sex Shack and blah, blah, blah. The next season she came on and she's like, I was never in love with him. I am now a lesbian. I've been going on like these very like crazy alcoholic benders and I have punched him in the face like multiple times. After she did that, Bravo was like, we're going to table you because you have now become a huge liability. And like, we cannot, if God forbid you do something, we cannot be associated with it. And that was before all of the lawsuits. So now they're probably going to look at him and be like, what the fuck? You know?
I don't know if he has a team. I mean, we know he has a team, but is he being directed to maybe calm the fuck down? Like, just
yes.
Can you tone it down for your own future, for your own show, for everything? Tone it down, dude. Like, why are you so
actually
out
did
of
a
it?
TikTok on this because his team, he has a great manager and also a fantastic publicist, Lori Kay, and he brought them on his podcast, In the Mind of a Man, and they were like, we want to challenge you. And he said, what do you mean? And they were like, we want you to get off of social media for 1 week. And he was like, I can't do that. This is how I make all of my money. And so then Lori came on in the podcast episode and she was like, okay, so what about 48 hours and I'll run the account for you? And he's like, I don't know. But finally,
forever,
he said,
and I will run the account for you.
Yes.
All the time. Like, let's save your life a little bit. All right.
I mean,
you got to have some money to pay for your kid.
I mean, it's going to be a wild one, guys. Almost 500 in the room. Smash the like button, show some love. But
I do have to say, I want to ask the live chat really quick about how people are feeling about the Valley, because right now on upandadamlive.com, Lexi and Angel, I believe, are killing it with like Valley coverage. And Lexi is like, it is so hard to get through an episode sometimes. I just like can't do it, you know? And there are sometimes I'm watching it and I'm loving the interaction. And I don't know if it's because I know a lot of these people, it's like, oh, there's Janet, there's Jasmine, there's, we know these people. So it's like, sometimes the conversations are interesting. I think Kristen is killing it this season, but a lot of people who I think even started this season thinking the Valley was here are now kind of like,
that was me.
Without it.
I was that person.
I know. You're also saying Next Gen NYC is like the new epic show from Bravo, and I completely disagree with that.
I think that Next Gen NYC, okay, I'm giving it
Nepo Gen NYC. Yeah.
I feel like that there could be some potential greatness that is derived from what is Next Gen.
Good, Adam. Okay.
Yeah. Guys,
you're doing good, honey.
It's for us, it's season 11. It's our 11-year anniversary. So we cannot sit here and disagree on everything. We have to just like kind of get on the same page. So we're gonna move past this.
We already have contracts for our next 11, so we're good.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. I'm gonna keep this one super, super short, but if you guys don't know, we know Monique Samuels. I shared Monique Samuels from Real Housewives of Potomac. She literally mollywopped the shit out of Candace Diller Bassett. She grabbed and grabbed and you know what's funny is like my sisters were always taught to fight like that, by the way. But you grab, you get your hand like tangled up in the hair and then you fight, And that's what Monique did to Candace. She grabbed and hit. So I was like, oh my God, I know that move, which is not anything. I'm not bragging about that. But
no, don't. We were just talking about the toxicity of this kind of shit on
yes.
TV. We don't.
But Monique ended up leaving the show because not just for the simple fact that she would have to refilm with Candace Diller Bassett because they were both re-invited to come back to the show, but
Which
also
I would have loved to see, by the way. I would have loved to see that.
I would have loved to have seen it too. But the women also got together and they were going to run a storyline questioning the paternity of her son, saying that it was not Chris Samuels. So Jason and I are living in Palm Beach County, Palm Beach Gardens at the time. And all of a sudden, Jason is going through Instagram, sees one of her stories, and she is literally right across the street from us. So I reached out to her and I said, oh my God, are you in Palm Beach? And she's like, how did you know that? I'm like, you're in my neighborhood. And so Jason and I ended up going and meeting up with her and Chris. We went to a cigar bar.
Yeah, we had a great dinner with them. Went to she taught me how to smoke a cigar.
She taught me how to smoke a cigar. So we went to a cigar bar.
And it has been a thing, not every day, but every now and then I love to enjoy a good cigar, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. We went to a cigar bar and we also went to a place. If you guys ever go to downtown West Palm Beach, we went to a place called The Bin. We went to the rooftop and we hung out with her and her family and her mom and her sister and also Chris. And I think that we did like 3 nights with them on their 7-day vacation.
And it was such a great time. You know, her brother is actually was like kind of a circus person too.
Oh, yeah.
So I had met him in West Hollywood when we were out there. Really, like, honestly, really way different. And this is why I love to meet these people too. I know that a lot of people say, like, when you meet them and you get to know them, you can become biased. But at the same time, you get to meet the real person because, like you said earlier, Adam, we're watching 55 to an hour of 55 minutes to an hour of something that was filmed. And we get like 5 to 10 to 15 minutes.
It's highly condensed.
It's very condensed. It's very quick. And so it is really nice to meet them because you just have a better kind of perception of like where they're coming from on the show and their relationships with people. Not to say I like one person over the other, but like, you know, they're from my hometown. They're from DC. They're from, you know, it was really cool to hang out with them. They were cool.
And
cool
I'm
they're not all cool people, guys.
No, not all of the housewives are great. I'll tell you that.
No, I'm beyond housewives.
I love you, but Nene Leakes is an asshole. But Cynthia Bailey is amazing. So you never know. But now going back over to Monique, I think that it's really fun that she's coming back. If you guys are not aware, she has officially divorced her husband and she is navigating life, being a single woman. And I think that us watching that journey is going to be so much fun. And I think that this is going to be a very different Monique that we didn't see before. You know, when
I agree.
I was going to say the first time that Giselle ever met Monique, she was like, girl, you don't have a home? And she was like, I have 4. And now it's like, now Giselle's going to come in and be like, girl, you don't have a home? She's going to be like,
you just finished yours, girl. No, listen, I think, you know, for her to come back as this friend of capacity, I think is actually perfect because it gives the chance for her to kind of come back in and warm up to the women. It also gives a chance for the audience and the network to see if there is a future here to come back because, you know, she did leave and she had her own YouTube channel, which you appeared on a couple of times.
Yep.
That was really good. And she has good conversations. She built her business from the ground up. And I can tell you that is a legit business. This is not an MLM. I don't know if you have Mila Eves. Yeah. Her Mila Eves essential oils and botanical things. Amazing. Like we have some, we even bought some. She has built that from the ground up. She can tell you where it comes from, what it does, where she gets it from. She actually is a business person, and I really do appreciate that. But I think it's going to spice it up a little bit. You know, Potomac, I kind of fell off of it when she left, not because she left at all. I just like slowly, you know, got out of it. And now we have all this like nonsense with Karen and she won't be appearing on the show. So I think this is a good, she'll fill the void for a little bit. You know, way better than, I'm going to blank on her name. When they tried to bring her back. What was her name? Champagne Girl.
Oh, not Katie Ross.
No, not Kate. No. She was a housewife, huh? Yeah.
Wait, Potomac?
Yes, champagne room. My champagne room.
Oh,
Guys, I'm
God.
blanking. I'm blanking.
Oh
and
my God, you guys,
she had
please.
the worst comeback ever in Bravo history.
Oh, why am I blanking on her?
Guys, come on. Guys, live chat, save me here.
Yes.
She was building the champagne room in her house. She loves champagne.
Oh my God, they will
This is
come in the live.
horrible. We are going to get eaten alive for just even not knowing.
No,
My God, this is going to drive me nuts.
no,
I don't know.
I know exactly
Come
who you're saying.
on.
She was
Just
married
give me
to not Charisse.
Charisse.
Yes. Charisse. Okay. Thanks,
Even the
guys.
live chat, live chat had a hard time getting that shit.
Not Cherie. We had Cherie, Charmaine, and Charisse. So you guys are on the same page, by the way.
You know, I thought
Thank
she
you,
was
guys.
fine with Karen, like season, season 1 or at the beginning, like she was fine, but like bringing her back into like the weave, like later, not so much. Not so much. No.
All right.
But I think Monique, I think she's going to bring a different energy. And she was on, what was she on the DC thing too? The other show. It was on the OWN network. Guys, I'm blanking today on everything. Monique, she just really has a good story, and I hope that she can portray herself the way she wants, and how she wants to be portrayed this time. I think that will be good.
I agree.
And I do like all of them. I really, that was one of my favorite shows. I just fell off of it. I don't know why.
Before I cut you off, is there anything else that you want to add?
No, sorry. I'm like on.
Okay. All right, guys. So
love and marriage, DC.
Jesus Christ.
Sorry.
Happy 11 years, everyone. I wanted to add, because if we're doing people coming and people going, and now Monique is coming, well, we have an announcement that just dropped today, and we have another person going. So thank you to Bravo Snarkside, but I'm going to read the announcement to you guys, and I'm going to just kind of pick your brains for your opinions. Bryn Whitfield said, a little life update. After a lot of thought, I've made the decision to walk away from reality TV for now. Last week, Hoppy, the dating app I co-founded and proudly serve as chief marketing officer, hit a massive download milestone. I can't even put into words how surreal that feels. And all I want to do now is pour every ounce of energy into building Hoppy into the #1 dating app in the world. The Real Housewives of New York City will always be one of the most fun, chaotic, and magical chapters of my life. It was the honor of a lifetime to It was the honor of a lifetime to help reboot such an iconic franchise. You guys didn't reboot shit. From day one, I believed that RHONJ is a fan show. We're just temporary custodians of something that truly belongs to the viewers. I hope I made you laugh a lot, cry a little, and more than anything, I hope there's a TV in heaven so that Mimi, who lived for her shows, could watch me and be proud. To every person who gave me a chance, cheered me on, and afforded me love and grace, thank you. I'm endlessly grateful. The good news is I'm just getting started. I've never felt more me than on my Spotify podcast, please see below, and prepare to laugh, cry, and possibly poop when you read my book coming out later this year. To date, I've only shared a fraction of who I am, what I've been through, and what I've learned. It's the most vulnerable thing I've ever written.
Well, this is as long as the season. Like,
I mean,
oh my God.
hold on. Splitting my time between London and New York City offices, building Hoppy alongside the most successful entrepreneurs, developers, and marketers, creating the app where the good guys are, where dating feels fun, safe, and cool again. Feels like a lifelong dream I never knew.
How do you fit all of this shit into one post?
Jesus Christ, just let me finish.
How can you? We're going to be here all day, Adam. Like, people are watching and listening.
Hold on. As Sheryl Sandberg said, if you're offered a seat on a rocket ship,
Sheryl Sandberg, God bless.
Don't ask what seat, just get on. So here we go. We're done dating his dad. It's time to steal his inheritance. XOXO Brittany.
Cute.
Jesus. Was that so hard to like give me that? Like, just let me finish the fucking
that was so hard to
statement.
listen to. It was like, I wouldn't even have time to read that. Like, social moves like this. Let's go. It's
okay. It's not, I didn't write the statement.
Yeah. Who, not her team either.
Actually, my card to you this morning, my anniversary card was like a third of that.
Yeah. It was like short and sweet. That's fine.
Yeah. It was like that's good. You know, I'm like,
no, listen, I really think Bryn Whitfield is one of the people I kind of did enjoy liking the first season she was on it. I didn't watch the second season. I'm not going to lie. Or season, whatever, the last one that no one watched. But there are some people I really like on the show, like Aaron Leachy. I really like.
Yeah.
I like Jenna Lyons. I like Uba. You know, I just don't think it worked. You know, and we knew you were making this statement. People were just wondering when this would be like announced. We just didn't think it'd be that long.
You're such. He is such a good.
You just be like, I'm done. Thanks. It's been great. You know?
All right, we're gonna move on. Bren,
Short and sweet.
hate to see you go, but love to watch you leave. Right?
I think on another show. I mean,
know, technically she was supposed to be on Vanderpump Rules. She was never supposed to be.
That would have been the show. She would have been Lala times 15,000. You know, 100%.
But
different. I think it was a different show. It wasn't the right time, and maybe we'll see her again. But I do think she has stuff to offer. You know, I'm not saying that. I'm just like, this is a big statement for someone who's been on, you know, a season and a half.
Did I like over caffeinate you this morning?
Yeah, I've had a lot of coffee.
Is it my turn?
Yeah, you can have coffee. Do we have any more? I really need some.
No, there's no. All right. So guys, it's funny because Jason was the first one on this story. It was actually the first one that was posted. Jason called me up and he was in the room and I was downstairs watching Wives with Knives and How to Get Away with Murder. It's like my favorite shows. And Jason was upstairs just working and talking with our writers for upandadamlive.com and also working on the live chat. And he said, Adam. And I was like, what? What do you want? And he was like, Rachel Zoe is joining the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And I asked, is that confirmed? And he said, yes. And then lo and behold,
I said yes. And then maybe an hour and a half later, because we get a lot of shit sent our way and a lot of it isn't true. A lot, right? But an hour and a half later, you saw it everywhere, all over the place. And it is so funny to me to see the reactions from everyone. Because for me, like, I used to watch OG Bravo. We're talking about the Rachel Zoe project and, you know, Millionaire Matchmaker. And when the $1 Million Listing was really good, you know, like those kinds of shows, it was fun. When you didn't have 12, 13, 15, too many housewife shows, you had a show like this. So Rachel Zoe, which is so funny because a lot of the Gen Zers don't know Rachel Zoe, but a lot of the millennials do. And a lot of Gen Z is kind of like, no, we don't know who she is. Now, Rachel Zoe, you got to remember too, her assistants that came from her show and where they are now, like Brad, right? Brad was her assistant on the show. Jeremiah Brent came in as an assistant on her show. Now him and Nate Berkus are married. They have their own like empire going. She has styled everybody from Julia Roberts to just everybody.
Well, her announcement was this.
I am coming back to Bravo. I am joining the cast of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. It's been a while, and you've been asking me to come back to television, and I said when the stars align, or it makes sense, or I have enough to say to share with all of you, and now is the time. Really excited to be with all of you again, and I hope you are too, so let's have some fun. Mwah.
I'm really excited. I hope we get some more like
Well, and I asked Jason because Jason and I have, by the way, guys, 505. We're so sorry. We are a married couple and we sit there and like go back and forth. And that's just what we do.
I know. I'm sorry.
But I was so excited to see her coming back because I know her history with Bravo. However, I was looking at it and I'm like, Jason, like, will she deliver in the sense that, like, if somebody calls her out or goes up against her, will she fight back? And Jason said, yes, she will.
I think it's going to be different. You know, it's not going to, it's going to be different for sure. I think that her coming back from Bravo, because I know a lot of people who aren't excited or really don't know Rachel Zoe, you got to go back and see her show. And it was such a big deal back in the day. It really was. I mean, Bravo itself was a big deal back in the day, not so much of what it has become, but I think we're refreshing here. But I do think she'll elevate the show a little bit. You know, it's like, we don't need another season of Erica Jane, and we don't need another season of our Kyle and Morgan. We don't need another season of Sutton and everybody. You know, it's nice to let's have someone kind of step in a little bit and elevate the show. And I think she will. She will.
By the way, KG said y'all are married. This makes this even so much better. LOL. Yeah, we are.
Hey,
we are
Adam,
married.
bring up DJ Goddess. Big shout out to DJ Goddess, the best DJ in Charleston. Guys, you can see her at Lamar's, Republic, the Ritual, everywhere in Charleston. She's amazing. We love you.
We love her.
Yes.
But then I wanted to also add, Toaster said, no, I don't think that she'll fight back.
I don't think she'll have to. You know, I think she's the type that can just react with like a quick sentence. Her tongue will be her weapon. And I think that will be it. I don't think she'll need to. And I don't think we're going to see a lot of that go on next season. I just don't think so.
Okay. Well, I mean,
we
interesting.
Tone it down a little bit on Bravo. We got to tone down the fights and the scandals of it all. We got to find a way to let the talent drive the show again, you know? And it's just not happening.
Well, and I also like that we're implementing a lot of A-listers like Kathy Hilton. You know, we tried Denise Richards. I feel like she was a flop. We have Jennifer Tilly. We have now Rachel Zoe. Like, we have people who are coming in and they are just absolute stars, which if you go back to old school, you guys, Bravo, this is everything that Andy Cohen did not want. He did not want recognizable faces, but that's exactly... That's the direction that we're going.
The problem is when you have 15, 19 seasons, what is that? Orange County going on its 19th season, right? Yeah. When you have 19 seasons of a show, you have familiar faces. It's too late. Now these Bravo celebrities are like A-list celebrities to some A-list celebrities. You know, like everyone watches these shows. Below Deck, a ton of celebrities watch these shows. So yeah, you do, I think, need to kind of mix and meddle where it's good, you know? Yeah. But I think we really do need to start letting the talent drive these shows again. I feel like they're a little overproduced. I think we're looking for a scandal. We're looking for negative and dark. And, you know, that's not what like Ladies of London was, which was also in the era of the Rachel Zoe project. That's not what Dubai, which started to get its feet off the ground. And now they're like letting it go. You're not going to see them with scandals. You know, we had a richest housewife in history on Dubai.
Bravo effed Dubai over so hard.
Well, because they had all that time between the first and second season. So
yeah, but you get to know
a group of ladies, right? Yeah. So when you get to know somebody and you take them away for a year and a half and then try to bring the show back, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. You know?
Okay. No, fair.
Billy Dixon, you just made my day. I love you. Thank you.
Hey. All right, guys. So we're going to move on from this. And I wanted to talk about this for a second. I don't know if you guys are watching on Sunday nights, but we have Bravo's Love Hotel. Guys, what a terrible.
Look at you with an opinion. I love it.
Terrible show.
Horrible.
It's not that I didn't just get an opinion. Like I didn't wake up and all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, I have an opinion. I always have an opinion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where do you go with this? It's like the Golden Bachelor meets Bachelorette meets I don't know. And the only redeeming quality I could find from watching last night was Ashley Darby, because she looks like someone who could be on The Bachelor or Bachelorette. And then like Giselle's not trying. I don't know what Shannon's doing there. And then Luann, she's now engaged, not engaged? We don't know. She was trying to make it apparent that maybe she was.
I mean, first of all, she was like, I don't know why anybody is asking me about being engaged. And it's like, girl, you literally went out. This is a total photo op. Yeah, just Heather DeBrode and Terry DeBrode are asses at Disney World, where all of a sudden it's like, well, there's paparazzi. No paparazzi. We're sitting there waiting for you to get on your Vespa and see you with this ring. You called somebody, you're smiling, you're clearly even in the photo on the right, you are obviously flashing this ring. Like this is not even a normal photos.
Hand. Look how the hand is even. She knows what she's doing, right?
How knows what she's doing.
Seasons has she been on? Her hand was in the right place. She knows. So now, you know, you have this news. Okay, she has someone. She has this ring she's flaunting in front of people. And we are currently watching this show, Love Hotel, which is, I don't know what's happening every time I watch it. There's like new guys, there's this, the system doesn't work. You know, like something is broken. So yeah. I don't know what it is.
Well, and that's my biggest complaint about it is like, you want us to sit there and champion the show and be like, oh my God, the show is so great. But now we know that Ashley didn't walk away with a man. Shannon didn't walk away with a man. Giselle did not walk away with a man.
How are you going to have
Luann did not
Ashley
walk
is
away with a
bi?
man.
She said it last night in the show. She's like, I'm a bisexual. Well, why are you just putting some old men in front of her? Like, I know that's what she's, had before.
Oh, but you're saying like a shot at love with Tila Tequila?
Yes, we don't even know
Yes.
Giselle might be. Why don't we see if we can get maybe a Giselle woman? Maybe that's the problem, So like, let's.
It
turn
is
up
Pride
a little
Month.
bit.
It's Pride Month.
Happy Pride, guys. Like, let's
Happy
feel
Pride,
it out.
guys.
If
I
something's
didn't
not
even think about
working,
that.
try something else. I don't know, but
I mean, my thing is with it, before the finale even happened, you are now announcing this relationship, the engagement. She is now dating a man who lives in the Hamptons. He is a realtor. He's enthralled with her. But before the show's even over, I'm like, does this not go against the contract? Can you do that? Because it's kind of like if you think about like The Bachelor, and if you think about like watching The Bachelor or The Bachelorette, when everything happens and they finish filming the season, they go dark. You don't see them. We don't hear from them. We're left
they keep them like
guessing.
locked in another mansion.
Yeah, they're like
They
locked
can't
in
talk.
a room. We don't know what's happening. And it's like, that's my point is, did you not think that was probably not a good idea? Is it not in your what are you doing?
Yeah. It was a bit weird. I'm not going to lie. The show's been a bit weird. I don't know if Shannon has had such an up and down of a few years. Like, now is not the time to put Shannon on a show like this. Is she ready? I don't know. Luann, like, come on, girl.
Yeah.
Like, no. And then Giselle and Ashley, like, already the 4 cast members, great on their own, not together. I just didn't see the show working from the beginning, but
well, what's interesting is I think it's actually this week. I have to check my phone, but I think that we're getting Miami this week, which is going to be so good. Wednesday. And then on top of that, we got the trailer for OC. So we have that coming. We have OC coming. Jason absolutely loves and champions Next Gen NYC. But no,
you're so funny. You're so funny. I feel weird watching that show. I'm 42. I don't want to watch these kids. I also lived in New York when I was in my 20s. I toured the world as a performer. Their lives aren't interesting to me.
Okay.
Yeah, I worked for what I had. I call it Nepo Gen NYC. I'm sorry. There are a few people on there I would want to watch, but I don't know.
Can you understand it from a business perspective where now they're trying to reach the older demographic where they're like, oh, well, you guys watch these kids grow up, and they're trying to reach the younger demographic because they're saying things like, yo, that's so glazy. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you're saying.
This is where you fucking lose me.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know.
We forgot how to speak English in this show too, like properly. Or at least like give me some French and speak it right too. But they I don't know. Some don't come off as interesting to me. I did watch the first 7 minutes. I really haven't watched the whole episode, so I am being a little harsh on the show, and maybe I should give it a chance, and maybe I will. It's just hard because it's really hard. What?
Just like you wanting to give something a chance.
Well, yeah, that's growth. Yeah, it's just really hard after you watch an hour of The Valley, and I'm trying so hard to pay attention to the screen, and then Next Gen comes on. I'm like, I really got to try, and then right after that, we do Anchor Watch. Who?
You look like the villain from The Mask.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. Okay. Last 2 things that I want to ask, really, actually 3 things. I just want to throw them at Jason really quick and ask him what he thinks. Paige DeSorbo exiting Summer House. What are your thoughts? And we'll keep it quick.
Yes, it's. I think she is doing this at a perfect time. When you're on a high note, leave the show. I think there is another opportunity waiting for her, waiting for other girls, maybe from that show that we're about to hear about, or something with Paige. She's not going far from Bravo. That is my, that's my my thought on that.
I like that. Teddy Mellencamp returning to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
No thoughts. Nobody's thinking about that. Like, why are you giving us the cherry on top and like the bottom of the barrel? So you're bringing Rachel Zoe back, and then you're bringing Teddy, and like, I'm so glad for her recovery. I only wish her the best.
You know what?
Super nice.
We
I don't
should
know
get
what
matching
I'm trying to like
shirts.
make up things.
We should get matching shirts where yours says the cherry on top and mine will say bottom of the barrel.
Okay.
And we'll go to Disney.
I
We'll
just
go to
think
Disney.
it's like why there has to be a reason, it's when you talk to actors and actresses and stuff, and you know how they do like the nude scenes sometimes and sex scenes on TV and film, they say, I'm always willing to do it if there's a reason, if it takes me there. And I don't mean to compare, Teddy to a sex scene on TV, but what is the reason for Teddy to come back? Oh, it to be Kyle's friend? Kyle, that's going to make your story even more boring than it already is. Like we're sitting here, you have us juggling things of like, we're guessing your sexuality, which is almost an insult to us. And then, you have a lot going on with Mauricio. Why do we have to mix Teddy into it? Didn't we learn our lesson before?
Yeah.
Did nobody learn their lesson?
And then last but not least,
let her recover, let her get healthy, let her live her life.
I have a naked little titty tat who's like sitting here and she's like screaming at me. So if you can hear her in the mic, I'm so sorry. Last but not least, I wanted to ask you, on Tom Girardi's birthday, he was sentenced to prison. And I had a couple collaborators on, and this is one of my favorite parts of collaborating with anyone. I love bringing people on. We have a difference of opinions. We, take it to the live chat. We ask the Addams family, like, what do you guys think? And I had recently a couple collaborators who were like, well, Tom Girardi shouldn't have to go to prison. Like, why would we waste our tax dollars on that? Like, he should just go live in a mental health facility where they have 40 different menu options, somebody scrubbing his ass and doing all
I would love for
things.
those same people to tell all those families that.
Well, and that's my thought. So that's what I was asking you is like, do you agree with him going to prison, or do you have a difference of opinion? I haven't actually ever asked you.
Well, when we're talking tax dollars and criminals and stuff like that, that's what happens. So yes, he is that. Yes, he should go. The judge, everyone there thought he was fully competent and capable. So that is what happens.
Yeah.
I don't know how to make it, you do the crime, you do the time. That's just how it is.
You do the crime, you do the time. Guys. I've been doing the time.
I do want to say, guys, we have a new housewife on Miami who I think is going to bring the heat like crazy.
Wait a minute.
Like crazy. And I think you skipped right over that.
Oh my God. Hold on. Let me bring her up. So tell us
if
about
you
her
bring up Marisol or something, I'm going to like hit you.
No, I'm not going to bring up. Go ahead.
I'm talking about Stephanie Chauget. I think she is, or Chauget, properly. If you guys haven't listened to Uncut and Uncensored with Caroline Stanberry, you're missing a great podcast. Larsa Pippen just went on. I think her episode just released today. Great episode. Great listen. Made me really look at Larsa in a different light. But also, Stephanie, what a great episode. Caroline and Stephanie have been friends for a minute, and you really get to know her in this episode. And she is not only money, but she's not afraid to tell you how hard she has worked. So I'm
just look at her walking up to her own. It's not even just like a private jet. It's like, and it has her name on it, Stephanie Chauget. And she walks in like money. Girl has money.
Well, people, if you listen to the podcast, guys, I'm going to push it here again, just because it's my friend, Uncut and Uncensored with Caroline Stanberry. Go listen to the episode with Stephanie. And she tells you how she doesn't like to be overlooked for who she is, what she's made, what she's built, just because of who she's married to. She's actually very knowledgeable when it comes to real estate too. So I'm really excited how she's going to play with these ladies and how they're going to interact, because this is really the only new housewife we're getting, with the absence of Nicole, who I also liked.
But she was dating Nicole's husband.
I know, but everyone's moved on.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, the connection is so messy. We love it.
I mean, listen, if you think Miami, LA was a small town to us, right? Yeah. So Miami is a small town. They run in a different circle. It's probably even smaller. So they all probably just knew each other. I don't think they did that as a hit to Nicole. Nicole chose to leave the show.
Bitch.
After we just talked about Bravo production. Never
Yeah,
mind.
I was about to say,
it's
no, they
exactly.
definitely-
It could be exactly
No,
it.
we were playing with all the mess, and Alexia Echevarria goes in the trailer. If you guys saw it, or if you didn't see it, she was like, "I'm Alexia Echevarria," and she goes, "Great, I'm Stephanie Chauget. How about that?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, who do you think you are?" And she was like,
bro, what did
she's
they
like,
say?
"Stephanie Chauget, did you not hear what I just said?" And I'm like, "Oh, you're going to be a force this one." Because if you come in, normally the weak ones, by the way, any Bravo show, when you come in, and there are two kinds of people, there are three kinds of people. There's the people who are afraid to go up against like the main cast energy, like cast members who are like OG, and you don't want to fight them because you don't want to upset the algorithm of what the show is, right? So you kind of like take yourself down. And then there's the
Yeah.
other side who goes so hard on like the Teresa Giudice of the Real Housewives in New Jersey, and you want to fight them, and you make yourself look like a moron. And then there's this kind of person who's like, you have it all, you can do it all, you're not looking for it, you're looking to come on a show and showcase yourself. And if somebody's going to come up against you and say something, you're like, bitch, do you know who I am?
And that's
And it's
why
like,
that's why listening to the podcast, she shows you, tells you who she is. She's not coming on looking for fame. And
Yeah.
I can tell you that it's a really good listen. Caroline right now knows how to put out podcasts with things that are hot and coming up. So the Stephanie podcast came out about a month ago, and then Larsa's podcast just came out. But we have Kiki, Adriana is back, Marisol, Stephanie joining the show, Larsa, of course, which I think we're going to see a whole new side of her. Gertie, Julia Lemagova, Lisa Hochstein, and Alexia. I think this is going to be a great cast. The show has delivered consistently since season 1. So I'm really hoping this is going to be kind of a fire season for them.
All right, guys.
We'll see.
Well,
Time will tell.
With that, I think that we pretty much covered everything, guys. Again, it's our 11-year anniversary. So happy anniversary to us and to all of you guys who might share that day with us. So much fun. And we have a lot going on today. Jason, like people were asking me, like, what are you guys doing? And Jason is still perfecting the live chat on upandadamlive.com, making sure that nothing could potentially go wrong tonight. So he's dealing with like the coding, and our friend Stephanie, who designed the site from Pixel Star Design. She has done an amazing job. But so yes, we will be working. But tonight we have our first live watch party, which is going to be absolutely incredible. So if you did not catch that earlier, Jason is going to tell you right now.
Yes. So we do have our first live watch on upandadamlive.com, which is brand new, by the way. Totally free to join. You just have to make an account to comment, to jump in the live chat tonight. The live chat will start during our show. Tonight's show is Below Deck. It comes on at 8 p.m. So 8 p.m. Eastern time, the chat will go live. You might have to refresh tonight, but like I said, we're working out the kinks. It will come up on its own. It's going to be amazing. And then we have a schedule on the bottom of that. So if you just go to upandadamlive.com, go to chat, you'll see the watch party. There's a schedule at the bottom that will tell you the rest of the live chats we have for the week. So we're only doing today and tomorrow because we need to work out our kinks and make sure everything is going well. Again, upandadamlive.com will always be completely free thanks to our amazing sponsors, Seagrass, Elevate, Pixel Star Design, Rose Forever, and Blue Mean currently. And I'm super excited. By the way, tomorrow, because tonight is Below Deck, we have Anchor Watch at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or Eastern Time at this point, I'm not sure, right here on Up and Adam. So come check out Gelsey, our new co-host, and me. We also have a very special guest. I did promise you guys we will have cast members, captains, and old co-hosts coming back on Anchor Watch this year. So definitely want to tune in tomorrow night if you guys are interested.
Hey. All right, guys. Well, on top of that, everything that Jason said, we still have the Valley Next Gen NYC recaps this week. We have Anchor Watch, and then we have Friday's Hot Messy Topics. And then I will be joining at some point this week, Kendrick Tucker. So I will be going on his podcast. I cannot. And yeah, we have a lot going on top of everything else. So we love you guys. Happy Monday. I hope you guys have a beautiful weekend. Don't forget to hit that like button, notification bell, get subscribed, and we'll see you tonight in the live chat. Just go sign up. It's free. It's all free. Bye, guys.